Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good night. We are the Melanated Council, and we stream every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and wherever you guys are at in the world, and we are live, and it is not any of those times, then that is when we stream. As always, please like, subscribe, and enjoy the show. Normally, our episodes are, they center around a topic. We have a special topic for the month, and then we dive into various subtopics, I guess, based on that topic for the month. However, tonight we're doing something just a little bit different. It is our 3-year anniversary. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rocky. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, it's our 3-year anniversary. And yeah, now it's sort of crazy to think, because 3 years is a long time. It's also crazy to think that it's already been 3 years since the pandemic started. Some people like to say it's over. I don't really know. I feel like the pandemic is still kind of here. It's just another disease. A new disease just dropped 3 years ago, and we just still have that disease. I think it's called endemic. Yeah, just like the common cold, just like the flu or something. We just have it. Yeah, no, time does fly when you're having fun. Man, 3 years when we were just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, creating a live stream podcast like the rest of the other Andrew Yang supporter groups. We initially, I believe we're initially on Forward United. We're on So I don't know if you can hear me. Are we back on? Are we back on? For some reason the chat's not working. I apologize. Okay. Let me see if I can. Okay, you can see us? Okay, you can see me? Okay, perfect. Can you? Hopefully everything's connected. Um, yeah, sorry. There was just a power surge. So, yeah, sorry about that. Well, I can't control the rain. It's like it's thunderstorming pretty heavy. And I have all of my stuff, like all the Wi-Fi, internet stuff connected to a power surge thing. It's like a power surge tower. It's pretty cool. Not sure if this was something that's always existed and that's been pretty old, and I'm just like this old person who's just discovering it. I'll send I'll send a link to in the Discord later if I remember. It's pretty cool. It was kind of cheap too. It was like $16. I was able to plug in pretty much everything. Oh man, this chat. The chat is just not working. I wonder. It's saying no internet, and there's clearly internet. Oh my god. Restream.io. You kinda suck. Because I don't want to press refresh. Like, you should just automatically refresh. It shouldn't be like that hard. Anyway, sorry, y'all. Yeah. Oh, you're right, Chad. I'm. All right. All right. I didn't realize that light turned off. Okay, so we should be good. Yeah, storms are normal this time of year, Rocky. No, that. Mm-hmm. Usually around the end of the school year, it's always thunderstorming. Even when I was a kid, back in elementary, middle school, around the end of the year for school, it's always thunderstorming and rainy. Don't know why, but it's a sign of the year is about to end. But yeah, no, I'm glad we're back. I unfortunately can't highlight y'all's comments, which sucks. I don't know why that is. I don't want to. Unfortunately, I don't really want to hit refresh and start everything over. Yeah, I know. What a way to celebrate it. Oh man. Yeah. No, it's been like a lot of for me it's just been I want to say it's been a lot of bad luck. Just some pretty much one bad thing happened recently. I don't know if you can see, but my shoulder, my arm is in a sling here. So Sunday I went swimming and which I, always do. And my shoulder dislocated while I was swimming, which this has never happened to me before. It was really scary, really crazy. And to top it off, it wasn't even my bad shoulder. This is my bad shoulder. This is the shoulder I was going for physical therapy that I've been talking to you all about for several weeks. This shoulder was my good shoulder and it decided to dislocate. So this is why I can't shoulder anything. I'm just barely functioning right now. Yeah, no, thank you. Yes, yes, it was my other shoulder. So it's been an awkward few days. Um, but yeah, I'll if you're new to the stream, we usually like to talk about our weekends or just any highlights throughout the week that we like to share. So I have quite a few. um what happened? So Thursday I saw The Little Mermaid, the new one. It was really good. I understand that the live action adaptations of the Disney movies have been terrible. I've only seen the Beauty and the Beast one. I saw the Mulan one. Yeah, like they weren't that great. I mean, I know there was a lot of ethical controversy for the Mulan one, which is understandable for sure. And then to top it off, there wasn't even a musical, so that just made it even worse. You just made sadness on top of sadness. But the Little Mermaid movie was really really good. How am I gonna do the shoulder lean? Yeah, yeah. I pretty much fixed one, and the other gave out. Like this isn't even fully fixed. That's the sad part. It's like probably 90% fixed. This shoulder, so it's just been shouldering everything, and this one, especially because it just popped out Sunday, it's still scary because I'm like afraid to do anything. But yeah, yeah. So I saw the Little Mermaid on Thursday. Um, can't remember if I did anything on Friday. Saturday, I went clothes shopping with my friend who's a stylist because I kind of want to up my wardrobe, especially since going into the office and all that. Realize I don't really have clothes. I think I've mentioned this before on the stream. If before the pandemic, I was about 30 pounds heavier. So since I've been going into the office now, I never really had a need to buy clothes because I wasn't going anywhere. So now that I'm going into the office, I have a reason to buy clothes now. So I'm like, okay, now I got to figure out what my style is because before the pandemic, I was still in my 20s. Now, now that things are starting to go back to normal, I'm in my 30s, so I feel like a totally different person. But yeah. So went shopping, got some clothes, got heels, which I never wear. So I'm gonna try to incorporate heels into my wardrobe. Be one of those people. Yeah. Then Sunday, shoulder popped out and went to the ER. That was the trip because I got into the ER about 2, and then they didn't really start working on my shoulder until like probably 4:30, I think. So I was just from probably about 1:30ish to 4:30. I was just in a lot of pain. probably probably the most pain I've ever been in my life, honestly, because there's no comfortable way to exist when your shoulder is just not connected to your arm. So I was able to kind of move it, so I knew it wasn't too bad, but it was clearly not doing what it was supposed to be doing. So the ankles are gonna be next, yeah, pretty much. Just gonna might as well just break down my whole body. um, but yeah, they at first gave me like some morphine. I don't do any kind of drugs, so I was like skeptical. But they tried to ask me how much pain I was in, and I couldn't really answer because I was just in a lot of pain. So they just cranked me up to a 10 in terms of pain scale. So they gave me some morphine. It helped a lot. And then we were just waiting. Like my boyfriend and I, he was there with me in the pool and he took me to the ER. We were just waiting. I'm still in pretty much my bathing suit, just like a bikini top and like some swim shorts and a towel. So it was really annoying when people kept asking me how did I dislocate my shoulder. I was like, I was swimming clearly. Like I didn't just go dislocate my shoulder, put on some swim clothes and decide to go to the ER. um but yeah, so they took a long time because they had to get the x-ray. They had to get the respirator person. They had to get like everybody situated, and they gave me ketamine to put me in a state of uh, conscious sedation. So they put me. Yes, sorry, I'm just reading the chat here on my phone. I just because the chat's just not working on my end, unfortunately. Um, so they put me in a state of conscious sedation, and that knocked me the fuck out. Like, I'm trying not to curse, but that I don't understand why people take drugs because that was just wild. That was a wild trip. Um, I, I had the weirdest dreams. Like, I literally dreamed that I pretty much saw like the creation of the universe. I like everything was spinning like I was an atom about to like I guess break into and start forming into a human being. This was like constant spinning. I was putting things back. I guess that was my consciousness coming back to taking over my subconscious because my subconscious is clearly nuts. The dreams were just insane. And apparently I kept repeating the same things. Like I kept saying, I'm the last of 7 girls. No, I'm the last of 7. What else was I kept repeating the same things. I kept saying, I died. No, I drowned. No, I was in the pool. Oh, I dislocated my shoulder. And I said that about 4 or 5 times. Because I kept thinking I died. It felt like it. God. Um, I said that I'm not a lesbian about 4 times. Okay. Um, I according to my boyfriend, I said, "Hey, I gotta say something, but I'm so embarrassed. I'm a strong, independent woman." Okay. Okay, Al. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but okay. Um yeah, that was I kept saying that my boyfriend was lying to me every time, but he was telling the truth. And I kept saying that he was mad at me, and he wasn't mad at me. I don't know why I thought he was mad at me. I guess I was thinking I was saying I must have said something. I didn't say anything bad, but yeah, no, I just kept saying he was mad at me. Versions of her from the other universe, my wife, when she was on meds, was Congo. Yeah. It's oh my gosh, but like out it, it literally felt like I was spinning, like, and then everything was coming to focus, and I was like, okay, that's my boyfriend. I'm in the hospital. Oh yeah, I kept saying, like facts about myself. Um, yeah, I was just grasping at. I don't know. I guess I was like, I've seen way too many movies of people coming in from the hospital and that they have to like say their address, say facts about them. But yeah, no, like uh, I would not recommend. I don't know why people do drugs. That was just insane. Oh god. Oh my goodness, but yeah, if I remember any other crazy things that I said, I'll definitely share that with you all because it was it was hilarious. 'Cause I don't remember any of this really. But anyway, you know who is insane but in a good way? So this person is a special guest, and I know that we don't oftentimes have guests because everybody who comes on is special. But this guest is specialer because this guest doesn't always come on. This person puts content and content creation puts everybody's background to shame. He is he, he is your favorite beard's favorite beard. He has this man. You always see him in the chat. He's always kicking it with us. He's awesome. He's amazing, and I'm very happy to bring him on. It is the one, the only, your favorite matcha lover, Gil.
Wagwan Mayot. How you doing?
I am alive.
That's good. Sorry about your arm. That really sucks.
It does. It does. Like it's really annoying, but it is what it is. I'm just trying to live with it the best that I can. Apparently, it's going to be for about 6 weeks, which isn't a long time, but it's long enough for it to be annoying.
Yeah. Like, what are you able to do? Are you able to like hate tweet at people?
Yeah, I mean, if I still had Twitter on my phone, it would be easier. But like I have it on my laptop on my browser, so I could hate tweet, but just slowly.
Yeah.
Because it's typing on my left hand. It can, but it's a little hard.
When you said that it happened while you're in the pool, I just was like, wait, how deep were you in the pool?
I was literally, it was like mid-stroke. I was just getting the hang of breathing and swimming because I could not figure that out for the life of me. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting the hang of it. And I was coming up to like, breathe and turn, and my shoulder just slipped out and it didn't come back.
Was it painful?
Honestly, it was very painful. I do think the shock of it made it even more painful because it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it was very terrifying. Fortunately, I wasn't like, I mean, the pool only goes to 6 feet. I think I was probably at like the 4 feet area. I was probably like in the middle of the pool. So I was like, ah, shit. But it didn't take too long to get out of the pool. Like, my boyfriend like carried me and took me out of the pool, and we just got everything, put me in his car. Fortunately, the pool is literally right in front of my home, so we didn't have to walk far. And he put me in his car. He grabbed my purse, locked my door, and then we drove to the emergency room, which was only like a 7-minute drive. It wasn't too far, fortunately.
Yo, Cole. Yo. I just saw it in my brain, read it really fast. Rocky, what the fuck?
Leandra multiverse of strong, independent women.
He was like, how hard were you stroking? Jesus Christ, dude. God damn it. Sir, this is a family show. That is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. I can't even see that. How hard was I stroking? I don't know. Hard enough for my...
Because that's why I did that. I was like, Jesus Christ, like, were you swimming against a current?
No. Because I was in a little neighborhood pool.
Wow. Because when you said, because I've seen your neighborhood pool, and I'm like, what? How? Like, unless you like dove in, and I'm like, no, I'm like, maybe you were overexerting yourself or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because sometimes when I'm hanging on the wall, you have to kind of put like your shoulders back to like kind of dive forward. So I don't know if like that pulled it or something.
Wow.
I don't know.
Rocky knows what he said.
Okay. Because I don't see it.
No, and like I kind of took your incident to heart earlier this week or earlier last week when I found out, and I was at the gym, and I'm like, oh, can't pull an L over here. Time to stop because
Yeah.
I'm just imagining like, wow, what if I dislocate my shoulder and I have to be out of work for like a certain amount of days, or because I'm trying to become a better human being, and my
I
body's like, no.
right. It's insane. Like it just it's just like fortunately I already took this week off not because of my shoulder. I just took it off because of the holiday.
Hmm.
So I'm glad that I don't have to work this week.
Yeah.
But it's, I'm thinking of next week and I'm like, maybe I could just try to work from home all week. I'll just let them know what happened. They'll definitely be understanding because I don't want to go into the office and struggle.
Yeah. I don't want to become a burden to anybody. Like even when I'm sick or hurt, like I just hate being the one somebody has to like, I wouldn't say work double to help out, but just be a burden. I don't want to be a burden to anybody.
I
So
hear you.
yeah.
Yeah, my boyfriend's been just a complete rock star because he's been helping me with a lot. It's weird. Like I think I was telling him how I feel like a princess who just discovered she's a princess.
Yo, dead ass. I had this conversation with a young woman who was going through some situations with her boyfriend, and she's like, I just want to feel. I said, you want to feel like a princess? She's like, what? I was like, don't you want to feel taken care of? She's like, I'm a, like you said, I'm an independent woman. But then it's like the I can't really explain it, but there are certain ways that you can just make somebody feel special, seen, and appreciated. And I call it the princess. Like I treat my wife like a princess. Like she doesn't throw out the trash. She's not allowed to touch the trash bag. If she touches the trash, if I come home and the trash bag is removed from the home, I'm putting the trash bag inside the house and bringing it back in myself. There's only one trash man in here, and it's Gil.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
It's
I just don't want it's not that it's a sexist thing. My wife has worked so hard, school, family, she's taking care of her mom. It's just been her mom for eons. And I just like her to come home and not do anything.
mhm.
She can do stuff at work. That's totally fine. She could At home, she doesn't touch anything besides the Apple TV remote to watch Shonda Rhimes shows like Grey's Anatomy and what's that castle show people have been watching? Bibbleton?
Bridgerton?
Bridgerton, yes. She's rewatched that like the recent season 5 or 6 times.
Oh, Queen Charlotte?
Queen Charlotte.
Yeah.
Sorrows, something, something. Yeah.
It's like sorrows, prayers, sorrows,
Prayers,
prayers.
sorrows.
I was like, I guess that was the thoughts and prayers of back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a great show. Like,
it is. I liked
but
it.
but how does it feel to be princessed upon?
It is hard. Um, I don't know if I've mentioned this on here, but my boyfriend, this is my first like relationship, like my first actual relationship, not just a guy I'm hooking up or just dating or seeing. So I've just done everything myself for pretty much, like I want to say my whole life. Of course, when I was a kid, no, but my whole adult life essentially. I've been paying my cell phone bill since I was like 16. I pay me and my mom's cell phone bill now. Bought my home at 24. It just been doing my thing for so long. So I've been getting like very like I don't know if it's like anxious, just antsy, just it's hard for me to just relax and let my boyfriend take care of things. It's like, and I don't want to get annoyed because how he puts the dishes in the dishwasher. It's like, I gotta remember whatever's gonna get clean. It's a dishwasher, that's what it does.
Yeah.
Or how certain things may be. It's like, because I'm so used to certain things being a certain way that if it's like a little different, it like kind of bothers me. But I gotta realize like there's certain things I just kind of gotta chill out about. But it's very weird. Like it's nice, but I feel so useless at the same time. But it's like everybody understands why I am useless because
Yeah.
like I'm working on like 30% arms.
But do you feel like the result of your arm being dislocated and your other arm being kind of hurt is because you've overexerted yourself in the manner of just doing everything, like, and not doing everything physically, like throwing out the trash, but just consuming, thinking, planning, building, doing everything, and not having a shoulder to lean on, and therefore your shoulders like, I had enough, girl. We need to throw this weight on somebody else. Like, you're gonna go swimming. Like, who are you? Like, I need to rest. Do you feel
Yeah,
like that's the thing?
I think so. Like I feel like God, universe is just telling me,
Beyonce.
Beyonce, of course,
Yeah.
that we have to that I just gotta chill.
Yeah.
I guess I just gotta pump the brakes hardcore with something and just figure out what it is to just be taken care of, to just be pampered. And I guess to, appreciate what life was like with two
Mhm.
arms.
I like what Rocky just said here. He's like, that much mental stress is bound to injure the body eventually. And the thing is, it's not even like stress, because stress has like a negative connotation. A lot of words that we say have like negative connotations.
Absolutely.
And stress could just be an overexertion of a particular thing. Like me doing client work can build up stress, can build
Mhm.
up waking up early, setting stuff up, you know, kind of getting in that routine of talking to strangers and forming relationships with them. That can become a stress buildup, and that could eventually do some harm to me. Not that it's bad, but it can just be can end up being bad. Too much of
For sure.
anything is bad. That's
Yeah,
the main rule. Like, too much of hanging out with your friends is bad. Too much being close to your partner is bad. Too much of anything is horrible. And being the person that is in control of your entire existence in every aspect in every way is bad. And ultimately, your body's gonna kind of show you some signs that, hey, you need to chill. Like, but I remember a couple of months ago, I was going ham, photo shoots, podcasts, YouTubes, my own podcast, and my body was like, "Oh, you think I'm a joke? do you think you think I run on octane and fuel, dude? Like, you can
Mm,
feed me this matcha crap, but I need sleep. I need to like." And then my body just got sick, and I had to take a couple months off doing nothing but recovering. Like,
right, I
our
remember.
bodies know what we need.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. I guess, like you could
How do you
I could
pin
sit here and
comments?
think I could sit here and think, why is this happening to me? Why me when I guess it needs to happen to me?
Yeah, it has to. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to pin Rocky's comment here. How do I do that?
I would have to do it, but the chat isn't even working for
What?
me. Yeah, because my power went on and off, and then
Mhm.
the chat just never came back for some reason.
Does it show up on the YouTube?
Yeah, I see it on YouTube.
Oh,
But
but it's going the native way. It's not popping up on the
the
screen.
yeah, not the restream way. Yeah, I'm
That
sorry, y'all.
sucks. Yeah.
Uh,
I'll just go ahead and read some of the chats here. Uh Rocky says, Gil says, "You think I'm a joke?" Me. No, I I do not. Rocky again says, sorry, I meant to say stress as in usage, like you worked out. the stress, your muscles, your focus. Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. Yeah, our bodies know what to do. Like,
It's true. I never thought of like I guess I never feel as though I'm working hard. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm working hard enough.
mm,
Like real talk and then I don't know. I don't know if my it's like is my body getting old? Did I just not pamper it correctly? Cuz I didn't do like the stretches and exercises that I would normally do for this shoulder
yeah,
to prep to swim because the shoulder's just been doing so well and I was going to do it afterwards. And I went to the gym twice last week too, which was more than I have gone in a while.
hmm.
So,
What did you work on?
so the first day I did legs, and then the second day, which I think was Wednesday, I did like arms and shoulder. So I did some of the shoulder exercises that I learned from physical therapy, and I also just did back, yeah, back, arms, shoulder, so upper body. So I did like some like pull ups, like assisted pull ups, triceps, arm stuff, the seated row. So I don't know if I just wore it out. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if it was just like a little freak accident, and because I always feel like my joints are kind of loose to begin with. Like I am kind of flexible, oh, very flexible, but I don't know if that was just one of those like little freak accident things where it just like slipped out, and but and it just felt like I could easily pop it back in, but I didn't want to risk it because this has never happened before.
No, I have
But
never broken like a bone like that or just dislocated anything.
neither have
Uh,
I.
so I mean, except my ankles. My ankles has always been a little bit shaky.
Mm,
But it's been they heal on their own. I mean, being a kid, but as an adult, I haven't had anything like hurt, just sore. Like at one point, I remember I was riding a bike with a buddy of mine, and I wore a cast because I thought my shoulder was hurt or broken. Got it scanned. It's just a sprain.
mhm.
Never broken or dislocated. I just can't imagine like what that will feel like because I can say that I can take pain, but I've gone through some things and I'm like, this is so painful. Well, my wife is like, are you kidding me? Like, you have no idea.
Yeah, it was just like the most annoying thing was just not finding like a comfortable position for just hours, and then just sitting here waiting in the ER until like they called us. It was a busy day in the ER, but you know what else, or rather, who else likes to get busy?
Uh-oh.
This man will he's either busy eating out your fridge
Hey,
or
yo.
eating out something else or
Hey,
someone else rather. He will steal your girl and
of
bring
course
her
it is
right
too.
back because she didn't have any food in the fridge. And then he'll blame you for not buying your girl food so he can eat it. This man, you know him, you love him, you can't live without him. The one and only Toby.
Toby.
Hey, what
Hey.
up, both of you? This is great. And to the chat, what's up with everyone? Um,
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't highlight the chat. There was a power surge, and for whatever reason, the chat just died. On
It's thundering over here.
yeah,
interesting. Huh? That is really really strange. I feel like there's
oh,
a little bit of like weirdness just going on a lot of ways. For
Mercury's in Gatorade right now, so
yeah, Mercury's in reggaeton and Gatorade. I've heard of microwave. Uh, mm. And I got some Wingstop. This was like from afternoon, but I haven't eaten since then, so this food is gonna get crushed in the meantime. What's going on with both of y'all, though? I don't know what I jumped in the middle of because I've been having problems.
Good. Just busy day working, creating, networking, and I got hit up and said, "Hey, you want to come on the chats?" I'm like, "Let's go."
Yes.
I literally. So the thing is, I was shooting today, and I had most of my camera gear in the truck. Wasn't planning on unloading it, and you're like, "Hey, you want to come on?" Like, before I even answered, I ran outside and put everything. Did I reply? Yes. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Like, yeah, all of us have been. I don't know. This month has just been weird. You know, like Ron's internet has been terrible. Toby, I know that you've been really busy with just like work and networking and everything. And my shoulder, both of them now, I've just decided to just call it quits. At least this one is like at least looking for jobs again. So I was like, okay, that's good. But this one, it's like, let me just go on unemployment. I can't.
Dang.
Yeah, that was a crazy time. I was sharing because they put me on ketamine, and so which was like conscious sedation. So I ended up saying some weird things that I don't really remember saying. And yeah, what I said, I kept like saying facts, like I said, I'm the last of 7 girls. No, I'm the last of 7. And I was like, I'm here because I died. No, I'm here because I drowned. No, I'm here because I was in the pool. I dislocated my shoulder. And then my boyfriend was like, yes, exactly. And I was like, did they put my shoulder back together? He goes, yes. And I was like, really?
What?
So I was really, I just didn't notice, and I didn't know anything. So this sling is supposed to also come with this thing called like a swath, which is supposed to like wrap around closer to the body. And they were trying to put the swath on me, and then they were trying to move me, and I kept going, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
What did you think it was?
I don't know. I guess because the last time they had me move when I was conscious, everything, like, my arm was hurting so badly. So I think I just thought things were going to hurt really badly. I was like, no, they want me to move. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, they're like, no, it's fine. You don't really need it.
Wow.
So you were finding this out because I was going to ask if it was when you were had the operation, when the people afterwards told you, but it sounds like anything in that room that happened, you don't really.
Yeah, no, it was my boyfriend. He was telling me. Apparently, I kept saying I'm not a lesbian, so.
L is not for lesbian.
I'm not a lesbian. Oh, and then the funniest thing I thought was, I said, oh, I gotta say one more thing, but it's kind of embarrassing. And apparently I kind of said it softly. I said, I'm a strong, independent woman. No,
just
nothing.
Those at least we know that Elle is not a racist Nazi. We know that all she thinks about is being a strong, independent woman, and she's not a lesbian. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I kept saying that, like, because like the nurse, no, not the nurse, the doctor who put my arm back. I remember I kept saying like, she's blonde hair, blue eyed. I think, which she was. I guess I was just trying to put reality back because I was so strung out. I was so strung out. Like, it took me a while to get off. Like, they didn't think they realized the ketamine hit me a little too hard.
Wow.
And they gave me a little too much ketamine.
How long did it last?
Honestly, not that long. The entire thing was probably about 30 minutes.
Wow.
the doctor who put my shoulder back in, like she said it took about 30 seconds to do because there wasn't any extra things, you know. It was literally just the dislocation, nothing torn, nothing fractured, and yeah, so that's. But man, I literally had dreams and thoughts that I was witnessing the universe like be created. I had a dream, like I thought I was an atom and I was just spinning and starting to form back into myself. Apparently I kept saying I need to fill my brain with more positive things or that I'm too harsh on my brain. And I'm like, which makes sense because if I had better thoughts in my head, I wouldn't be dreaming all this weird crap. I'm not a lesbian. Boyfriend, trust me, I know.
Okay, good thing.
What happened, Chad? What do you mean a funny Memorial Day thing happened?
So what's going on over there?
Yeah. So.
Also, my phone I just got this new, because I've been having problems with my call and text. They haven't really been working consistently. Honestly, since probably the first week of the month, which is great timing. But like it really stopped where even my Wi-Fi call and text wouldn't work. So I basically, like, since the weekend before last, haven't been getting texts and calls for the most part, except in short spurts where I just get a bunch in a day from the last 2 or 3 days. So had to order this phone Friday morning, but by the time it was going to come because of the long weekend, it was today. Haven't been home all day pretty much since I have weird work stuff. So I may have to actually start to like turn this on and activate it as best as I can. I was trying to like not have this overlap with the stream, and I can technically wait, but I was like, oof, this is so painful to have this phone and like I can't even do anything with it yet.
What kind of phone is it?
It's the Samsung Galaxy S21. It's the same because I got it through like insurance, like I guess I have Verizon insurance, so it's just the exact replacement. But I should look into getting a new phone. I mean, I just kind of paid it off in February because I got my first original phone in February 2021. This was actually a replacement for that first one, and I just shipped that one off like yesterday, today, which long story. Don't even go into that right now. That should have been shipped off like October of 2021. Didn't happen. So it's like this is phone number 3 for the same phone. Not this one. This is phone number 3. So it's kind of a hot mess. And I'm like, maybe I just need to get a different phone, maybe get on a different network. But for now,
iPhone.
Listen, I have an iPhone 12 for my job, but I don't know if I'm ready to switch all the way. There's just certain things that I'm just like not like. I'm glad that I got this phone for my job for free, but I wouldn't pay for it. I'm just gonna say that.
So what iPhone number are they up to? Like 14, I think.
14.
Yeah,
I have an 11. So
that was the first one I got for my job. I was like, this is actually a pretty great phone.
Yeah, it's
but
pretty good.
Just a lot of just nuances and things that were just too different from what I was used to. I'm like, I'm not sure.
And before that, I had an iPhone 7 Plus since like 2015, 2014. And that phone lasted me forever until I just had to give it up because I couldn't take any more pictures. And my job kind of requires me to like take pictures of my set. And, honest to God, I just got it. I got rid of it recently. And I don't know, the last time you were at my studio, the one that I had, that's when I had that phone. I would take pictures of my front-facing camera. Like if I wanted to do anything, I would take a picture of my front-facing camera. That's how much devoted I was to like, I don't need to upgrade if I don't have to.
Gotcha. Wow.
But then I decided to upgrade to the 11, which is fan-diddly-tastic. It takes great images. I can call people. Who cares? It's a phone. But it has to be an iPhone because I really love the convenience of AirDrop. It helps me a lot in my field of work. That's honestly the only reason why I have iPhone. Screw all the blue text garbage. I just like AirDrop because I can take a photo, do a video, do a reel for a client, and then send them the video instantly. That's the only reason why.
That makes sense. That's good.
will
Because I understand when you're in the Mac Apple ecosystem, everything is easier to connect, like with your iPad, iPhone, your Mac, your MacBook.
You do not want it. Trust me. The ecosystem sounds really great. It sounds amazing, but I'll tell you the headache that me and my wife had to go through this last week. For some reason, AT&T like coverage was gone for like 2 days, 2.5 days in my area. So they forced reset our router, and we had to like get a new login name and all that other crap for some whatever reason. We had to. I had to reset my HomePod and my Apple TV. The HomePod doesn't have a traditional UI. You have to like unplug it, plug it back into the wall, hold it down for like 30 seconds, and then use your phone. But it has to be the phone that you reset it with has to be the owner of the home, well, the Apple's owner. And I'm the Apple owner of the home. My wife isn't. So my wife was setting it up, all her presets and everything for the house wouldn't work because our August smart lock, which is an Apple smart device, it just was a bunch of other stuff where it's like, this is not how it makes sense in my head. It works when it works, but when it stops working, it's a big complicated mess, and it took forever to like get it back working. Like it's
Jesus.
Yeah. So I had to reset the HomePod under my name, but then our Apple Music is under my wife's name. So I had to go into the iCloud, cut off the HomePod's music from my iCloud and put it on my wife's iCloud, put the home security system for our security system and our cameras on my wife's account, not my. It was just like, this is not fun.
It's just unnecessarily hard.
It's unnecessarily hard, but it works. Like, I feel like it's easier to kind of like figure out what's going on, even though it's a bunch of hoops to jump through.
Right, because you don't have to jump through the hoops that often.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Right.
But I can't imagine my mother-in-law going through that. That'll be mission impossible. Like, I feel like it'll be the equivalent of her like going through some air vents that are like conveniently clean for a movie scene. Like, it's just so stupid.
That's so true. No, like probably about once a month, my mom calls me, probably just like in a pool of sweat for her to like just asking me about her printer and what she needs to do.
Yo, 21, 22-year-old Gil used to make a killing installing printers in like mom's homes or grandmother's homes because they didn't know how to set it up. And I love when the Wi-Fi printers came out. There were so many errors. Classic.
Yeah, printers are never. I actually don't remember the last time I've never owned one. Technically, I got one from someone.
Yes, Chad.
It was just a hot mess. Like, I don't know. I trying to figure out like the whole thing with the route, like the drivers, and if you, God forbid, you have a really old one where you have to manually plug it in, and yeah, even the printer at my parents' house, I couldn't really get to work for printing anymore. And I don't even know what updates they have. So I'm just like, yeah, printing is, even at my job, like I've had so many problems trying to like get these different types of printers to work. And when they would, they just stop at some point. And I had to like do a mobile printing thing just like last month when I had to print off something literally from my apartment. And so like right before I moved out end of April. So I was just like, why do I have to like go set up a mobile print on my work phone? Actually, my personal phone would have worked too, but then the actual printing with my computer wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, anyone who could figure that out, make printing work, is gonna make some kind of killing. The guy runs a printer. Interesting.
I mean, you would think that like with all the innovation in the world with AI, you would think a lot of like trivial menial things that we use day to day would be a lot easier, like a printer. Like to get ink for a printer like is freaking stupid. It runs out. Finding a replacement, it's just so annoying. There's like a lot of different things where even for Wi-Fi, like we're living in 2023 and I still have dead zones. Like my my office here, like this is this is not where my router is downstairs. My router is behind me. But if I were to put my computer behind me, I don't get a signal. Or I get a weaker signal. It's stupid.
It
But
is.
it's wild. Things that should make sense don't make sense.
Yeah, things should be working better by now, and they just aren't.
They just aren't.
And they sell these things for so much money. Like,
you ever heard that theory about how things back in the day used to last a lot longer?
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays they're just like we replace things so often. And I remember when the iPhone 7 came out. Was it iPhone 7? Which one had the first flexible one that they call like the flex phone? It will bend in your pocket. I think it was the iPhone 7, right? The thin one.
I did not know about that.
Yeah, there was a variation of the iPhone. I think it had to been like the 6 when it was really, really thin and it would bend in your pocket. I remember being really upset about that. Like, I just spent like money on this new Apple device and now it's faulty because they were rushing it. Like, whatever happened to like a company spending their time to get everything done right, doing the R&D and testing everything. I bought my Rodecaster Pro 2, the second one, and Elle was there to attest. But even before that, I was having some issues. And I was at a podcast producing a show, and it just didn't work. It's just like, do we not make things to work anymore? Do we just make things to like work for 6 months till the new one comes out and you have to like get it?
Yeah. I've had my phone for like 4 years now, and I'm telling, like, I know I want to get the Google Pixel 8. That's more than likely going to come out later this year. And it's kind of crazy how I can just rely on that Google's going to come out with the Google Pixel 8 this year. Next year they're going to come out with a Google Pixel 9. I don't want to hold off because I really do need a newer phone, but the fact that you could just rely on the fact that, okay, they're going to release the newer version next year. It's almost like, should I wait a year or should I just bite the bullet and get it this year? Because it's almost like a car where you buy it new, then you drive it off the lot and it already loses value. But you gotta, I guess, look at it for how does it value you? And, it's like, hey, I can't just be blinded by all the bells and whistles. If it's new to me, it's new to me. I'm just hoping, because I hear that the Google Pixel 7, their fingerprint reader is kind of slow. And I just hope that they make it a little faster, because my 4-year-old phone, the OnePlus 7 Pro, is like super quick with the fingerprint reader. And I don't want to just go to a phone that's better but just sucks in unlocking my phone.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's so many different things. Like with Photoshop, the new Photoshop, the beta at least, works so much better than traditional Photoshop. And it's like, damn. Like, this Photoshop was already fast. Now it's faster. And when I go back and forth from the beta to the traditional one that's available to the public, it's like, it's so unnecessarily slow, but because I know it could be faster. It's like when you drive a Tesla, you're like, oh, this is great. Then you go back to your regular gas guzzling, eco not friendly, pollutant, guzzling machine. You're like, oh, this is horrible. I feel like this could be better, but it's not. I just don't know how to explain it. It's like, how do we even deal with that? Because now we're going to want the better thing. Like, you're going to get that phone or try that phone and it's going to be way faster. Images are going to be a lot clearer. You're going to be able to do so many different things that you're like, wow, this is so good. And then in 6 months, you're like, this is boring.
Yeah, it just becomes the norm.
Yeah. you take for granted, I guess, the things that were so cool and shiny. I mean, like, I would definitely have to admit, despite the nonsense my phone has gone through, I'm very happy that, like, there are definitely markedly noticeable improvements from past phones I've had. I mean, basic phones obviously are a different class than smartphones, but even some of those old smartphones were like, God help them. Like, I think one had like 256 megabytes. Like, I can't believe that's even like a thing. Like, that was my first smartphone, this T-Mobile Concorde, which was like through Walmart Family Mobile, which might not even exist, but it was like a more like, cheap version of T-Mobile's line, and I think it was contract free. So that was definitely interesting. But like now it's just like, okay, 128 gigabytes. And even now I'm struggling for space like a lot with my current phone. And I have to like have better practices with just like how I have stuff saved for sure. Hoarding tendencies coming out. But it's just like, yeah, like I feel like, and my parents have always talked about like, yeah, I feel like you abuse your technology, like your computers always have problems, your phones have problems.
Hey, my wife is here.
Maybe. Hey.
Oh wow.
You had the T-Mobile Concorde. I had that back in I want to say fall 2012, spring 2013, probably fall, because I think it was my first semester in college when my Samsung Intensity, which was actually a pretty good basic phone. Like, I'm not gonna knock that. Nice little flip up keyboard. No, like it wasn't a flip phone. It was like an actual slide up keyboard, I should say. And so yeah, that T-Mobile phone was like super. It was really good when I needed it, but then I realized, oh, this is not that great. So then getting the Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini, which was my first real smartphone, I would say, that was cool. Even though it had like 8 gigs, it was still like way bigger of an improvement. But it's just everything had problems. Like everything, I get a better phone, but then I'm like, that has problems.
It's like you try to look for new solutions to things you didn't have to worry about before. Like, yeah. Like my computer behind me, it's an i7 iMac 27-inch, 16 gigs of RAM. When I got it in 2012, it was the best thing since sliced bread. I can edit videos, photos. I built my first website on there. Everything was great. Got me a laptop in 2019, an i9, and this is I cannot edit anything on that iMac anymore, even though I could. It's just that my brain is like, we need faster. It's just that and just getting that better thing, like L, that the Rode microphone, the Rode Streamer X is coming out. And I asked myself seriously, why do I need that?
Yeah.
But ultimately I can give you a professional answer, but ultimately I don't need it at this moment. I don't need to spend 300 US American dollars on, actually it's $400, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 400. It was like $399.
$399 is $400. I honestly almost pre-ordered it, but when I thought about it, with my setup, it would be perfect. I could just leave it at home and then use my Rodecaster Pros. I have 2 of them to spend money. I'm talking about spending stuff. But while my wife is here, but I don't really need it. And of course, talking to my wife, like, this is not something that I currently need. It doesn't move the needle forward. It's not going to change anything. It's just something new and shiny,
Yeah, and it's so tempting
because you can spend it. They, give you those sales. They're like, hey, if you saved X percent or whatever, and you still spent Y amount of money, you didn't save X percent, you spent Y.
Yeah.
Now, in cases where you really had to spend that money, you needed the phone, you needed something, okay, cool, you took advantage of a deal. But even now, it's like I could trade my phone in. I keep seeing these trade-in deals. Verizon, which I have, I mean, their trade-ins are okay for depending on the phone. But then if I go to another network, they would be much more lucrative. And it's like, do I actually need to do this though? Like, if the phone is working, I mean, this phone was having problems, but like, if I get a new one, which I just did, and I keep it, it's like, well, this phone is working. It seems fine enough. I'm not like the S9, which is the phone I had before the 21. Like, it was an okay phone, but like, when I got the iPhone 11 through my job, I was like, wow, this is way better than the S9. Then I got the S21 and I'm like, okay, now I can kind of say I can match it. Despite the problems I have with the S21, or at least the problems I've had with Verizon's network, I'm like, I can keep this phone. Like, I'm not hurting for something crazy new, but they make you think that like you need something more. Like you don't have something that's good enough. Like, even my car, I mean, my Honda 2016 Civic, well, that car had problems. Again, I seem to always get problematic cars. And that car was probably one of the newest cars in my family. I mean, my family, of course, they lived in Maryland while I was in Mass, but still, like, most of the other cars people had were older. Now, a lot of people have gotten newer cars. And my current car, this 2020 Hyundai Elantra, well, that has problems. Well, it doesn't have problems, but as I just heard on the radio today, and I've been hearing since last year at least, Kia boys are a thing. Rest in peace. So I'm just like, let me just hope people don't steal my car one day and I find it in the ditch. So it's just like, yeah, there's always something that needs to be remedied and fixed, right? The cars get more technological. Though that Kia boy thing is more of a low tech deal, but still, it's just new things to watch out for.
That's my main prerogative when it comes to like anything in general. Like I've owned several vehicles. The first car that I actually had no problems with was a Volkswagen Jetta, and because the mechanical issues are kind of easy to work on, you do an oil change once a year instead of like sporadically every like 3 to 6 months like most vehicles. And now I have a Toyota truck, and it's a decent size, newer, a lot of safety features. And one thing that I learned was doing the whole process buying photography equipment is if you purchase like a higher end stuff that meets not all your needs, but meets your general specific needs. Even if it's a phone, if it has enough RAM, if it has enough cameras for you, enough for you to do the thing that you needed to do, it will last forever. Like it'll be a good investment versus buying something you don't really need and going above and beyond, getting a luxury vehicle, and then dealing with expensive brakes, expensive turbo breakdowns, because you're now in a different tax bracket. And it's the same thing with like specific cameras. Like your camera has an issue, parts are kind of hard to come by because this is a very niche camera. Same thing with cars. This is a very niche car. Nobody has its transmission. Versus if it's a mostly common car like a Hyundai, a Kia, a Volkswagen. Now with this Toyota, like I can get parts with my eyes closed. I can go out somewhere and say I need a Toyota Tacoma starter and just go out and grab one, versus getting a niche truck or getting something that's just coming out like the Hyundai Santa Cruz that came out like a few months ago. I really wanted that truck because it looks really cool. But just think about it from a mechanical standpoint. If something to go wrong with this truck, I don't know when I'm getting parts or where to go to get parts. This is something new. And that's just been my mindset when it comes to anything. Like I don't want to be the guy that stands out. I want to be the guy that, even with my camera gear, yeah, of course, I would love to get a Fuji camera, but I don't know anybody who shoots Fuji. Let me get a Sony camera because everywhere I go, somebody has a Sony camera. That way, when I have lenses in excess, I can rent them out or lend them to people. That way they can be used versus just, collecting dust on my shelf.
Yeah. Cameras, I couldn't even tell you enough about them except, some of the big brands. But yeah, like if something goes wrong and having to repair it, I could definitely see that being a problem. I already can relate to like the car. Well, the car thing I think has been okay for now. Obviously, like Honda Civic is a common car, Hyundai Elantra a common car, but at the same time, it gets more expensive even just to have more safety features. That was the whole thing I remember reading about. Like, if something gets knocked off, even like the sensor, because everything is calibrated so specifically with like the blind spot sensors, the rear cross. If something gets hit or something is wrong, then you have to like, get it sort of adjusted in a professional way. Or like if the mirror gets hit off, then now you can't just have another mirror. You need a mirror that has that sensor again or whatever with the light. And I was like, that sounds very annoying that like a lot of things. And a friend was telling me this, a friend with the Toyota RAV4, which is obviously very common and very popular SUV, but like she was saying how like, yeah, even like she had to get something fixed, but it was just too much because of how much extra tech goes into it. So what would have been a normal mirror replacement is now like much more expensive. So it's kind of just like the pitfalls. I mean, I still think it's great that we have these technologies, at least for vehicles, definitely. Since full autonomy does not seem to be in the cards anytime soon, at least making standard certain safety features so that cars in general are safer to drive. Hopefully there'll be less accidents. So you can't solve for human error, as we all know, working in software or in general product design. But you can do the most that you can do. And, you know, I definitely think it's like a scale. Like there's definitely some things where it's like, yeah, we really don't need to get the nicest things because they'll be hard to maintain and use. But then other things are worth that cost, I think, if it makes society better. It's just me pulling this out right now.
No, like I'm seeing the chat here, and I agree with Rocky's dad's statement. I bought, like with anything, I always have like a spare part just in case. I don't got it with me, but there's like this really expensive flash. I don't want to bring up photography again, but there's like this really expensive flash, and for me to take photos, I need this bulb, and this bulb is $100. So I know that this bulb is good for 70,000 shots, but sometimes they do kind of go faulty. So I went ahead and bought another one, and I've always had it with me everywhere I go, just in case. And it's the same thing with cars. Like you always have a spare tire. You always have jumper cables because you just never know.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just so many different things that it's like, I think you have to like go through them or see people go through it and like, oh, maybe I do need to have an extra vehicle, just in case my car breaks down. Like right now, I have a truck. My wife has a car. If my truck were to go bad or her cars would go bad, we still have an extra piece of, an extra car that we can use to, go about and do things. It's just having that extra thing. And I would never get a BMW. I'm sorry. Like I just can't. I had a friend of mine who had a BMW, and I said the turbo thing earlier because his turbo broke or stopped working, and it was like a lot of money to fix. It just sat there, and he still had to make car payments. And it's just being in that scenario just makes me anxious. Like, why would you want to do that? I'm good.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, I love BMWs and Benzes.
I mean, you're Jamaican.
But... Yeah, true. But that is definitely a thing. They like to buy old BMWs. Yeah. And it's just not a smart thing to do. Because it doesn't matter if it's an old BMW and old Benz, the parts are still expensive.
Chad said if you're a realtor that needs to front, only reason to get one.
Pretty much.
Like, a lot of realtors that I know have like older BMWs that look kind of new, but it's older.
No idea. I had no idea.
I see that. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Man.
So the chat, the title of this episode is the 3-year anniversary for reals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that hasn't come up. I'm dead.
Yeah, there was just a lot going on.
Oh, well, congrats. Because I saw it, I pulled out of YouTube and I was like, wait, does it say 3-year anniversary? Wait, hold on. Congrats, y'all. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I found the episode. It was May 26th, 2020. Yeah, because it was always after Memorial Day weekend, because that's always the last Monday. And so it just ends up always being this time where it's like, it's right into the summer too. What a great time. Start streaming. I mean, 2020 was a rough year, so there was a lot going on at the time that kind of forced our hand into going onto this platform, but it was cool. I think something ironic, and I wish Ron was actually here. But the three of us, we've kind of become the face of this over the last few years. But I feel like we were not. I mean, maybe I should speak for myself, but I feel like we three of us weren't necessarily the face of it. I mean, Ron quite literally was in the back, right? Sometimes when we didn't have enough people because we didn't have premium with StreamYard, so if we didn't have enough room, then sometimes Ron would sit out, but he would still manage the back end.
Yeah.
when I think we had a limit of like what 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
And you know, there were just certain personalities that were like very kind of larger than life. I feel like with like Erica and other people, and I always kind of felt myself more of like background. You know, it's funny because like some of my friend groups would joke about me being like a main character in a way, like I was a recurring character, but it was kind of like my like nerdy, memey friends. But I feel like in reality, I was really not like the main the main character or whatever. Even though
I'm
I know
a background character. I'm
You said
just
you
always in the background. But in my head, I'm a main character, but in real life, I'm like a background character. It just comes out of nowhere, ends up becoming the real main character, if that makes sense. It's like I'm in the background, but then realistically, I'm like the main guy.
in terms of the work you do for
Yeah,
like people.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That.
Kind of reminds me when hip hop was just being created. They'd always like the DJ was the main
Yes,
person.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's just not really the case anymore.
That is
Kinda.
that is a crazy thought I had a couple months ago because I remember like the DJs were the guy.
Yeah.
The artists were just tools and they're very disposable. It was the
Right.
DJs and it would be albums with DJs. Like my favorite DJ back in the day was DJ Premier.
Okay.
And he worked with Gangstar and no, he worked with Guru and then together they formed the group called Gangstar.
Gotcha.
It's a DJ and a rap. It's just one of those things that you had to be alive to see it. And I feel like it's making a resurgence with Drake and was it E40 who he works with? Who's that guy?
I don't know.
Was this on his
His
honestly never mind?
no, his main DJ guy. Like people would work with Metro Boomin. Like
Yes.
21 would make a whole album with Metro Boomin,
Yep.
whatever the case is. I feel like it's slowly making a resurgence because it's the producers and the DJs. They're making a name for themselves, especially with the tags. Mike Will made it. Like
Maybe that's a bit.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
40. His producer 40. Yeah, not E40. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. No, there's definitely. Honestly, there's a lot that I need to get more hip on. I kind of missed the whole phase. For a variety of reasons when it came to like music and some of that. But I do remember seeing a nice article about how like Metro, I guess it was like a profile on Metro Boomin and how like he kind of like just threw everything that he could like in terms of like the things that he made, just hoping that someone would use it even for free and he would get some credit and he would like go out of his way to go to like studios in Atlanta and all this other stuff. Like when he was even like a teenager or whatever. It was really interesting to like read about. Because I don't know, I definitely didn't know much about any producers from like earlier in the 2000s or 2010s, but I would always hear like DJ Mustard, Mike Will, and of course Metro Boomin. I mean, even Macklemore and Orion Lewis. I remember they performed at my college my first year when they kind of do the yearly like Quad Mania with an artist performance, and yeah, like he was part of that. Like it was literally Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Like it was always that second name. You knew the name, and he was there on stage. He got a big shout out from Macklemore at the end or whatever. And that's just one example, but that is like interesting how like you do notice it with some cases where it's like, yeah, these of course, like if you look at the Afro beats, like DJ Spinall is like a huge name, who's like done a lot of really hot. Not to mention a lot of Amapiano artists, because I mean that is really the beat that makes Amapiano, like the dancing and the beat. Like the lyrics and the singing is cool, and it can be very like mystic and very everything. But like you give huge credit to the producers on a lot of these type of beats. And there's like other famous Afrobeat producers who I can't think of off the top of my head. DJ Skinsky.
So who would you say is like the greatest musical duo?
Yikes. I don't know if I can answer that.
I feel like Outkast is definitely up there.
No, like a musical duo, like two people.
Isn't Outkast?
Is it?
Outkast is just two people.
Outkast, I think is just two,
yeah. Andre 3000 and Big Boy.
Oh wow, I don't know why I thought it was a big group.
Oh snap, that's who that is.
Yeah.
Mustard on that beat. Oh,
Mustard on that beat. Yes.
Musical duo.
Yeah, I'm like
Greatest musical duo.
In my opinion, I mean, I just have to say, anytime you add Jay-Z, if things get great. Jay-Z and Linkin Park was freaking amazing. But I love Jay-Z and Kanye West. That's like the Watch the Throne album is like one of my favorites.
Really?
Yeah. I love the song Why I Love You, which is amazing.
I haven't listened to that album in so long. I'll
yeah.
definitely re-listen to it. I guess because like Kanye West is just
Yeah.
wilding
He's doing a lot.
psychotically.
I just missed a lot of music from the era. Like I wasn't listening. If I could hear individual songs, sure, but I couldn't tell you what song was on what album, honestly. Like I just know really popular songs, like of course, Niggas in Paris with Kanye and Jay-Z.
I just realized that I do have a sandwich downstairs, Chad. Thanks for reminding me.
I'm dead.
I just remembered. That's hilarious.
It's because their talent is larger than life.
You know, there is one group. Well, I guess I thought it was one rapper named Atmosphere, but it's like a white rapper. But my roommate, who was white, my first year in college, would play, and he played quite a lot of music. He played some like more easy listening, some Bob Dylan sounding music. Then he played like Biggie and Lil Wayne. It was kind of all over the place, but he would play Atmosphere. And I was like, I actually like this song, like this music. But Atmosphere, I guess, was a rapper and a producer duo.
That's awesome.
Oh, okay.
And so I remember Atmosphere had a few songs, I think Every Day or Yesterday, maybe Every Day. There was a song called Puppets. There was like a bunch of random. Sunshine was another one. And I just remember hearing all these songs. Very easy listening type of rap. Pretty lyrical, but like really underrated, I would say. Yeah, if I look them up, they're from Minnesota, Minneapolis. Rapper Slug and DJ Ant.
Silk Sonic.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Couldn't tell you.
That's fair. That is a great musical duo. I mean, anything with Anderson .Paak, though.
Oh, right. Okay, because even when you said Silk Sonic, I'm like, I've heard of them. But yes, that I did not remember that was the name of, Bruno Mars.
Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars.
Yeah, I've definitely heard. I remember hearing like some of the really popular songs.
Their ads were everywhere. And then I was like, let me listen to them. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Musical duo. That's such a...
I never knew who Anderson .Paak was until that ad. It was just all over the place. I'm like, okay, I get it. I'll listen.
I found out about Anderson .Paak probably like less than a year.
Same.
Before the whole Silk Sonic thing.
Oh no, I found out during Silk Sonic.
Oh no.
Whenever that was, a month ago. I don't know. Yeah, I did found out about it. I'm not too like once I find like a music or an artist that I like, I don't know anything else. Like I love Pink Pantress.
Oh yeah.
There's a song, I don't know the name of it, but it's a Windows XP wallpaper.
Is it The Girls Ain't Loyal?
I don't know.
Boys Ain't Loyal.
I used to
fire, whatever.
Let me look it up on my phone now. Because I used to do fighting. I used to make fighting games using this thing called Nuvo, and I would find these fast beat songs and put the instrumentals because it was very upbeaty. I never liked techno, but I loved them on a video game application because it just made your heart race a little more. Than
no, for sure.
Would. And Pink Pantress gives me that vibe. What is her name? Pink Pantress. The song is called Single. No, it's called Passion. Passion. I'm not gonna play it. I don't want to get us kicked off.
Pink Panthers. I only know her because of the Ice Spice collab, but
how do you feel about Ice Spice?
I mean, someone said like she's just doing her thing, making the music, even if it's like not super serious. Go for it. I mean, I don't really care because my musical tastes aren't that refined anyway. So like, I feel like it's low-key trolling in some ways.
I don't even understand the hate. I kind of the way I like to think about it was when I had a job that I hated, I'm only doing it for a fucking paycheck. She's doing it for a fucking paycheck. What's the big deal? When you didn't like your job, you just fucking went around and did nothing and just was kind of carefree and hung out with Kanye West's daughter if you wanted to. Like, it doesn't matter. Oh.
Yeah. No, it's true. I never really like listened to Ice Spice that much. So I can't really.
I've heard a handful of songs. Like some I've heard quite a bunch. Like not even just the most popular Feeling You Munch, but even like In a Mood. Like, damn, she in the mood. Like I've actually heard that one quite a lot. And I'm like, I actually like the beat on this and like the flow. Even though again, I'm sure it's not like the most lyrically genius thing, but I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And there's just so many. I mean, that's like a whole other thing. Like all the female kind of artists. Like I said, 2019 was the year of the female rapper. And then 2020 came around. You had WAP and you had all these other songs and artists. And now I can't even count. Like, my goodness, I hear about new artists. It's actually kind of crazy. And I mean, I think it's great. So whether you're a bit more real, hard hitting, talking about your life and the grit, or if you're a bit more of just like, show off a bit, talk about your body, whatever, like people are making the bread. Like you said, Gil, like you're making the paycheck and you're doing whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like what rap and hip hop was, talk about whatever you want. Some people say it should only be about talking about life and really like telling a story. Yes, that's something someone told me. A Black woman friend of mine, actually, she was like, it has to be about talking about a story, telling a story. And music these days doesn't always tell a story. I don't know. I mean,
there's no rules to this. Like there is music older than all of us combined that are just talking about sex or just talking about just random stuff. And, like, that's how music has always been, though.
Yeah.
Like it's like I used to kind of be on that bandwagon-ish of, oh, things are getting worse. Things are like, this is so bad. What if the children hear it and things like that? And I was a child once. I would hear some bad songs. I would hear things. I've been watching Adult Swim since I was in middle school, like 6th grade, watching Inuyasha and like Family Guy, seeing all this kind of things being, and nothing really happened to me. And of course, I'm just one example, and I understand why
Well, look
people
at you. You're podcasting. Like, who the hell does that?
I know, right?
Like, look at us. We're podcast. We're the product of Adult Swim. We podcast.
We podcast.
If you or your loved one watch Adult Swim while they're a child and have a podcast, call this number.
You might be entitled for compensation.
Yeah. I'm dead.
I don't know. Like, every generation says y'all don't know how good the music we had back in the day was, and yeah, it's true. Like, I don't know. People are just having fun. I don't really agree with the music.
Yeah.
But that's my perspective, my opinions. It's like, okay, they're technically using less words. Just music isn't as long as it used to be.
Or meaningful.
Right. That too. And
but also like music, how many chords are you even allowed to even create? Nothing is being really created anymore. What's his name? What's that redheaded guy? He has a song XY. The Irish gentleman, the Irish chap. He had that song.
The famous one, Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was sued. He was almost sued by what's his name? I forget the old school R&B artist, because he apparently copywritten one of his songs or stole the tempo of his song, and Ed Sheeran they took it to court, and Ed Sheeran won the case in saying that there's not that many chords in the universe. Like, of course, 1 or 2 strings of my guitar is going to sound like yours for like a 3 or 5 milliseconds. And that's what, it's not Luther Vandross, it's somebody else.
Oh, Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was Irish.
Yes. So so Ed Sheeran won the case. And if he had lost, not only it would have been the end of the music industry, but it would have been the end of Ed Sheeran's music industry, and ultimately the amount of money that he would have to had pay was might as well just give over Marvin Gaye's his music title, because he would have like, I have no money to pay you for that. And then ultimately it would mean like there's no way for music to continue, because we're like taking songs from old songs. And there's this podcast called 20,000 Hertz where they actually talked about something similar. This is like an old episode years ago, but they talk about how there's not that many musical chords in the world. Every song that exists is a variation of an old song or another song. Like there's no originality in music, and there's not going to be any. So
right, yeah.
Goodness, yeah, music is always a fun one, and I love that conversation, which I will definitely table. But I have to table it. But like, absolutely, like that whole thing about old music, new music, and kind of like, are things changing? Are we becoming, are we becoming the old generation? And do we have lawns that we're yelling at people to get off of? Is it just the transformation that happens for all of us? We become all old, bitter people, and I don't know, but for sure, put your thoughts in the chat and about everything else, because this Discord ain't going nowhere. So.
Right, yeah. But y'all, unfortunately, we're gonna have to, what do they say, bring this plane to a landing. Land this plane.
Hope you're not the pilot.
I am not. No, I don't have arms. Gil. I can't pilot anything. Oh man, but yeah, thank you all so much for joining us for our 3-year anniversary. As always, you can join us in the Discord, which I'm going to share now because I found a workaround-ish way for the chat. Even though I can't highlight any of your chats, I'm sorry about that. The rain should have, started tomorrow, not today. I'll talk to the rain manager. With that said, we love you all. Thank you again, Gil, for coming on. It was awesome having you.
Anytime. Yes, this is time number 2, but not the last.
No.
No, far from the last. And as always, we'll see you all next week, or you can chat with us in the Discord. And next month, we'll have a new topic. So be sure to stick around for that. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week.
Chocolate rain. Chocolate rain.
Oh my gosh. It's right.
Man makes one song and it's just forever a YouTube legend.
Right. All right, y'all. Good night.
Good night.